Some speakers, including yourself, trying to point people towards realization by saying to just notice what is here that never changes. Sometimes I feel like I got a glimpse of what is spoken of, but then it's gone. This seems like something that requires effort, and I end up feeling like I'm not doing it right, or that I don't want it enough, and it gets frustrated and give up. Is this just part of the play and the realization awakening inevitable and unavoidable? Sorry for the long question. Thank you. That's not a long question, Jason, and that's a really great question to ask, and thank you for asking it. So you're getting the absolute and the relative confused. So you have glimpses that don't belong to you, and they're beautiful. And they seem to arise when you question yourself. And when you question yourself, there's like something that goes zoop, and suddenly steps out of the side of the box of you, out of the limitation of you, and there's something magical and mysterious and infinite known. And then you think it's to do with you, and then you go into your personality structure and habits. The way that you think, I feel it requires effort, and I end up feeling like I'm not doing it right, or that I don't want it enough, and I get frustrated and give up. That is a habit of your personality that arises. So that's not something that's just applicable to this. This is a habit that you will have. I know you most probably don't believe me. You're like, no, I really think this about it. But we think in habits and we think in patterns. So this is a pattern that you're used to. This is something that your parents will have taught you, and your genetics will be susceptible to, and your society will have taught you, and you believe it to be true. And this will affect all areas of your life. So when anything becomes too difficult, that's the road you'll go down and believe. It's a disbalance of the solar plexus, so the chakra right here. I will demonstrate. This chakra, it's a disbalance of this chakra. Look at my lovely mandala that I have on. This chakra. So the rib cage is there and here. And that chakra is the solar plexus, and it is the feelings of feeling like you can't control things, that you're out of control, that life is meaningless, purposeless, that you can't do it, that you'll fail. It's repressed anger. It's frustration. It's a sense that you can't do something. An imbalance is a sense of feeling powerful, like you can do it, like you can do something, that you will succeed, that you are capable and that you're strong. It's a very masculine point, maybe. That doesn't mean it's for men, it just means that it's masculine quality. And it's that area. So when you begin to feel that, that's the area that'll be disbalanced, and you believe it to be true. And then you get lost in it. And so your infiniteness, so there's this infiniteness that suddenly went poof outside and you were limitless. And then that thought started playing, and then you contracted into that story of you, which will be a typical story of you. And you'll experience this in all areas of your life. We're like these traffic lights of chakras that light up. Like boo, 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 boo. And if they're out of balance, and what I mean by out of balance, like too much in the negative, we're meant to have negative feelings. It's not wrong to have negative feelings, but when you're too much stuck in that, then you get stuck in very negative stories about yourself, and that's the negative of the solar plexus. So now you want to know how to fix it. Number one, how to fix it. Number one, this is the body, the mind. It's the body and the mind. And you have to know that fixing happens. It's not you that fixes. Fixing happens like magic. So the thoughts and the ideas come up to do this, and it doesn't actually belong to a localized you. It's something that's playing in you. There's something that knows this is happening. So you think that you've got to fix yourself and it's your effort. It's actually a grace of God, and it's something that happens. It's beautiful. So knowing that. Number two, you have to identify that feeling. So when you start having those thoughts, identify where it is in the body. Notice that you're having those thoughts throughout the day and that it's a pattern of yours. And feel it in the body. So when you're around someone, you start feeling bad, notice the stories you're telling yourself and where you feel it in your body. So pay close attention to that. The next part is connect it to your life experiences. Like, ask yourself questions. When did I begin to think this? Do I feel this around people in particular? Like, does my dad think this? Does my mum think this? Did I grow up in that attitude? Did I think it at school? Be interested in how that formed. Pay attention. Notice it through your day when you begin to tell yourself that. Then, once you've established that, you know that and you can feel it and you're not in denial and you're not bullshitting yourself, that it's other people's fault, that you're never going to make it, when you really have got to the innocent feeling and and there's a truth there, then you can begin to recondition yourself when you're ready. And the way the reconditioning happens is then you think, what is it that I want? So say in that situation of liberation, you say to yourself, I want to be free. I want to know my limitless nature. Already in establishing what you want will make you feel better and more positive. Already in establishing it, not in a lackful way. If you begin to go into a lackful way, you've still not got to know the feelings well enough. You've got to go back a stage. But in a beautiful way as that begins to take over. So not as a lackful, like I'm never going to make it. Like if it's feeling, when you say I want to be free and it feels not good in the body, it's because you still don't believe, or that you're still not admitting to yourself there's a part of you that doesn't believe it can happen. So then it's like, I want to be free. I want to know my limitless nature. I want to see beyond the ideas of self. And all of that, when you're ready, it will begin to make you feel expansive when you say it. And then you begin to say, I am it. I am free. I am safe. I am limitless. I am the creator. And this will make you feel expansive and beautiful. And then in that saying, then it's, I am. Then here you are. It's the way it is. Like when you're saying this to yourself and you're rebalancing yourself, you're losing all these false ideas that are saying you can't be it. So you're losing the seeking energy. And in losing the seeking energy, then you become the infinite possibilities. This is a Tantra practice, believe it or not. I can't be bothered to explain now why it's a tantric practice. Tantra doesn't mean sex, but it's a practice from Tantra. I seem to invent it in this life, that Tantra practice. I didn't get taught it in this life, but I suspect that in previous lives, this bundle of energy in some way had some tantric teaching. But I've read about Tantra, and it's pretty obvious that it comes from Tantra. Okay. I've read about Tantra. I've also done courses on Tantra.